Can you imagine a country's government deploying its regular army, deadly machine guns, and thousands of rounds of ammunition just to fight a bunch of birds? It sounds like the plot of a dark comedy Hollywood movie, but it is 100% true. In 1932, a bizarre event took place in Australia, which the world now knows as the Great Emu War. And the most hilarious part? To this day, people joke that a modern, industrialized army was brutally defeated by a flock of flightless birds. This strange story begins in the 1930s, a time when the entire world was reeling under the Great Depression. Financial ruin was everywhere, and Australia was hit hard. To improve the economic situation, the Australian government came up with a plan. They gave away free plots of land in Western Australia to their brave World War I veterans so they could take up farming. The government figured this would provide employment to the heroes and boost the nation's grain production. These soldier farmers worked day and night, cleared the land, sowed wheat, and hoped for a bumper harvest. But they had absolutely no idea about the unique enemy nature had prepared for them. Enter the real villains of our story, the emus. Due to a severe drought in the interior, around 20,000 emus had migrated in search of food and water. When they stumbled upon these lush, irrigated wheat farms in Western Australia, they hit the absolute jackpot. Now, these emus were no ordinary birds. Standing up to 6 feet tall, these flightless giants can sprint at a staggering speed of 50 to 55 kilometers per hour. In no time, this army of 20,000 hungry emus began devouring the crops like an elite strike force at a royal banquet. But the damage wasn't just limited to the crops. These heavy birds completely wrecked the barbed wire fences surrounding the farms. As a result, the broken fences opened the floodgates for wild rabbits and other small pests to raid the fields, wiping out whatever little was left. Months of the farmers' sweat and blood turned to dust in just a few days. The farmers tried everything to drive them away, but a handful of settlers stood no chance against 20,000 birds. Utterly helpless, they appealed to the government for military intervention. The government made a decision that would go down in history. Instead of sending the Forest Department or Wildlife Control, they deployed the Australian Army. Command of this bizarre mission was handed to Major G.P.W. Meredith of the Royal Australian Artillery. He was sent to the front lines with 2 soldiers, 2 lethal Lewis machine guns, and over 10,000 rounds of ammunition. On paper, the strategy seemed flawlessly simple. The soldiers would show up, take aim, fire a few bursts, and wipe out the entire flock in one clean sweep. But the real challenge was waiting on the ground. On the 2nd of November 1932, when the first clash took place, the soldiers were left completely stunned. The moment the first shot was fired, the emu flock didn't panic or huddle together like a regular target. Instead, they instantly split into tiny tactical units and scattered in different directions, running so fast that they immediately outran the machine gun's firing range. 2 days later, the army spotted a massive gathering of nearly 1,000 emus near a local dam. The soldiers hid in the bushes, took careful aim, and opened fire. But barely 12 birds had dropped when the army's main machine gun suddenly jammed. With the weapon broken, the remaining 980-plus emus vanished into thin air, leaving the soldiers choking on a cloud of red dust. Desperate for a win, the soldiers tried another trick. They mounted a machine gun onto the back of a moving flatbed truck to chase down the fast-running birds. However, the Australian outback was so rocky and rugged that the truck bounced violently. The ride was so rough that aiming was out of the question. The soldiers were barely managing to hold on to save themselves from falling out of the vehicle. In fact, one truck even lost control and crashed straight into a farm fence while chasing a bird. The army commanders soon noticed that the emus possessed an incredibly smart defensive strategy. Every flock had a designated 6-foot-tall leader, a sentinel. While the rest of the birds gorged on the crops, this leader stood completely still, scanning the horizon. The moment it caught a whiff of the soldiers, it would emit a specific warning call, and the entire flock would vanish in a split second, running in a chaotic, zigzag pattern. Thousands of rounds of ammunition were wasted like water, but only a few hundred emus were neutralized. Driven to absolute wit's end, the operation commander, Major Meredith, made a legendary statement that is still preserved in history books. Major Meredith's statement: "If we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world. They can face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks." Meanwhile, the media and newspapers began relentlessly mocking the government. Headings screamed, "Birds teach the army a lesson," and "Australian army defeated on the feathered front." After facing severe public humiliation and international political embarrassment, the defense minister finally threw in the towel in December 1932, and the army was officially recalled. The emus had won. Later, the government changed its strategy. Instead of deploying soldiers, they started offering bounties to the local farmers for hunting the birds, and highly durable emu-proof fences were built, which slowly brought the problem under control over the years. But history doesn't remember the boring fences or government bounty schemes. What stuck in people's minds was a vivid image: highly trained soldiers standing completely helpless with modern machine guns, facing a flock of clever emus sprinting past them at 50 kilometers per hour. This story teaches us a profound lesson. Sometimes, brute force and sheer arrogance are not the solution to a complex problem. Nature has a beautiful, unpredictable, and highly entertaining way of shattering human ego. For more fascinating history videos like this, subscribe to our channel.